Hello, Ren here, and I'm going to talk to you about the massive hypocrisy of Dr. Gray coming from right wingers, in particular, in ways that this hypocrisy could backfire and harm the very right wingers that are pushing for this. Now, I do agree that Dr. Gray should resign, which she did, but because she's been caught plagiarizing, and things should be kept fair for the students. It is not fair that if students get caught plagiarizing, that they would get kicked off the school, but if the president gets caught plagiarizing multiple times for her to um, keep her position. You got to lead by example. You got to, if you can't lead by example, then you don't need to have a job. You got to be an excellent example because it's not fair for the students that they would get kicked out of school. You know what I'm saying? It's not fair that they gets kicked out of school because they got caught plagiarizing, but the president gets caught plagiarizing 6, 11 times and still has a job. That's not fair. But I have seen right wingers complaining about her speech. I forgot where it was, but she basically didn't really condemn what's happened to Jewish people. And that's right there is something that I could see backfiring against right swingers, mainly because now you're being in favor of regulating speech. And regulating speech is okay, how many of you are right swing? How many of you have been permanently banned from Twitter? How many of you, before Elon Musk took over, how many of you had to create 2, 3, 5 Twitter accounts because you couldn't stay on the platform? How many of you had YouTubers that got banned from YouTube? Because numerous YouTubers have gotten banned. So, do you support the banning of your favorite YouTubers? Hold on. How many of you remember this? That's right. When Lauren Chan interviewed Richard Spencer, how many of you were subscribed to Lauren Southern at one point? You don't think cracking down on speech or even anti-Semitic speech would turn rights around and backfire and harm conservative right-wing students? How many of you viewed the right wing, or well, the far right, as somebody to talk to debate with, to invite to your YouTube channels? You don't think that that could backfire against you? Even though, think about how many anti-SJWs have been permanently suspended off YouTube, off Twitter, over their association with the far right. Think about how many of you defended the free speech of Richard Spencer, Nick Fuentes. Like how many of you defended their free speech? You don't think that by pushing for Harvard's president to step down, you don't think that could backfire against you and that your own ideas could be weaponized against you? If you want to push for censorship, you'll probably get it, but as a consequence, conservative students would probably get kicked out of colleges, and the only students that would be allowed in colleges would be liberal students. if she is supposed to resign because she didn't explicitly condemn the wrong speech, how many of you have the wrong opinions about trans people? Really think about how many anti-SJWs would frequently say that there are only two genders. You don't think that you pushing for regulated speech would come right back and harm you the way it harmed you on Twitter, the way it harmed you on YouTube? When y'all called yourselves free speech absolutists, y'all were tired of getting kicked out of Twitter. Y'all were tired of getting kicked out of YouTube. Y'all wanted more free speech because when there is censorship, y'all are usually being screwed over. And now you want more censorship? And y'all don't think it's going to be, 2017 all over again. Well, y'all are getting kicked out of various places and y'all are going to be crying, my free speech, when really, you should be fighting for the free speech of the people you disagree with. Because when you fight for the free speech of the people you disagree with, then you protect your own speech. You should care so much about free speech that you care about the free speech of your opponents. You should care about her free speech. You should care about the free speech of Steve Shives. You should care about the free speech of Christy Winters. You should care about the free speech of other people, because that is how you protect your own free speech, as opposed to free speech for me, but not for thee. Because it doesn't work that way, because these institutions are overwhelmingly left wing. There were like 500 signatures saying that Dr. Gay didn't do anything wrong. So now that they know that rights wingers are pushing for censorship, you can no longer say you're for free speech, because all of these tweets that you're saying, demanding that she should be fired for having the wrong opinion, that could turn right around and hurt you.